Success shouldn't feel this exhausting. If you're winning on paper, but burning out behind the scenes, you aren't failing. You're stuck in a psychological bottleneck called a hurdle of stop. I've been there. On the outside, things look great, but I was secretly burning out, convinced I was just lucky, and waiting to be exposed as a fraud. I realized I didn't have a business problem. I had a mindset block. Whether it's imposter syndrome, perfectionism, or fear or failure, these aren't just feelings. They are growth bottlenecks. Identify your specific hurdle and get one immediate action step to regain your momentum today. Go to tuepodcast.net/quiz. That's tuepodcast.net/quiz to take the 3-minute assessment and get your report now. Welcome to Business Conversations with Piet and Piet 2.0, where the advice is real, but the voices are AI. I'm Scoob, and we're harnessing cutting-edge artificial intelligence to tackle real-world business challenges and deliver actionable strategies you can implement right now. Joining us is our newest AI voice, Piet, sharp, insightful, and ready to challenge conventional wisdom. The questions are real, the data is vast, and the insights game-changing. So buckle up, Scoob believers. It's time to get across the start line. Let's dive in.
You know that gnawing feeling,
Yeah.
the one in the pit of your stomach, the one that's always whispering, you don't belong here.
And they're going to find you out.
Any minute now. Exactly. If you've ever felt that, you are definitely not alone. In fact, if you're a high achiever, that feeling is probably like your constant shadow.
Today, we've got a heady stack of sources, and we're distilling it all down for you. Our topic is imposter syndrome. We've got analysis on how this psychological hurdle really undermines achievement, especially the subtle ways it feeds on itself, and critically, how it links directly to burnout. So our mission today is to cut through the noise and give you some concrete, actionable strategies, some behavioral hacks, really, for recognizing your own worth. And it's such an important conversation to have because we have to get past just calling it self-doubt. It's so much deeper. Imposter syndrome, as our sources define it, it's not just low confidence. It's a profound psychological state where even with overwhelming evidence like objective proof of your success, you still hold on to this intellectual conviction that you're a fraud.
That's a huge disconnect. The cognitive dissonance must be immense.
It is. You feel fundamentally undeserving, unqualified for the role you're in. And the core of it is this fear of exposure.
The moment someone realizes you aren't who they think you are.
Exactly, that catastrophic moment. And that's why it's so often paired with this intense anxiety. You're not just trying to succeed, you're constantly trying to hide mistakes that you think will reveal the truth.
And the most insidious part is how we become our own worst enemy. We actively undermine the evidence. When you get a win, you just refuse to take credit.
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of saying, I earned that, it's this instinct to say it was luck or timing, or someone did you a favor. Okay, so let's unpack that first. That's the fuel for the whole cycle, right?
It is.
Why do high-achieving people, when they're faced with just undeniable success, immediately say, oh, I was just in the right place at the right time? Why do we diminish our own work?
What's really fascinating in the sources is that this diminishing act, it's actually a kind of survival mechanism.
The survival mechanism.
How it's a way to manage the pressure that comes with success. I mean, think about it. If you fully accept that your achievement was because of your skill,
Then you're on the hook to do it again.
you're responsible for maintaining that level of performance forever. That sets the bar impossibly high for your own psyche.
Wow, okay.
But if you tell yourself it was just external forces, luck, timing,
The wind was blowing the right way.
right, then your success feels uncontrollable. And that offers protection. If you fail the next time, you can just say, well, luck ran out. It wasn't my fault. Exactly. You avoid taking emotional responsibility for that new, elevated standard your own success created. It's a kind of protective pessimism.
But the cost is huge. You never get to feel that genuine self-recognition.
That's the trade-off.
So if we want to reverse that cycle, the counter strategy has to be really surgical. We have to break that habit of wrong attribution.
Precisely. You have to forge an undeniable link between your effort, your skills, and the outcome.
So what do the sources say? What are the hacks?
The sources recommend 3 specific countermeasures, and the first one requires radical specificity. They call it the accomplishment audit.
An audit.
And it's not enough to just write down, I closed a big deal. You have to force yourself to write down the specific microactions you took.
So you're building the evidence case for yourself.
You are. So instead of the proposal was accepted, you write down, the proposal was accepted because I spent 7 hours cross-referencing industry standards, because I leveraged my network for 3 key intros, and because I restructured the cost model.
You're tying your skills, not chance, directly to the result.
It makes that attribution bias much, much harder to maintain. The detail is what makes it real.
It turns this vague win into something repeatable. Measurable competence. Okay, what's the second countermeasure?
The second hack is about active strength identification. We all have skills that we undervalue them because they come easily to us.
Like being a clear communicator or good at organizing.
Exactly. Or pattern recognition. You need to actively list those inherent strengths and then explicitly document the role they played in your achievements.
So connecting the dots.
Yes. If you negotiated a tricky contract, you don't just log the win. You acknowledge that your strength in, say, conflict resolution made it possible. You're synthesizing your skills in your success log.
I like that. Okay, and finally, what about when that negative voice just inevitably pops up, the you don't deserve this thought? How do you stop that spiral?
You have to engage in what the sources call evidence-based thought challenging.
So you argue with yourself.
In a structured way. You don't just dismiss the thought, you demand evidence for it. When the thought, I am a fraud, comes up, you have to stop and ask, what objective, undeniable evidence supports this?
And usually there isn't any.
Well, what you realize is the only evidence is just fear, an anecdotal feeling. But the evidence stack of your actual accomplishments is often enormous. It's a crucial step. It transforms that self-doubt into self-inquiry.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about the internal conversation, that self-talk. Let's talk about the external behavior.
The deflection game.
Yes, the deflection game. When we get positive feedback and our reflex is to just push it away, downplay it, minimize it.
It's a complete externalization of that inner conflict. And it's profoundly self-sabotaging.
How so?
Because it stops you from internalizing any positive data. The sources show these classic responses. Someone gives you a compliment and you say,
Oh, it was nothing.
It was nothing, or anyone could have done it, or my favorite is immediately pivoting to self-criticism. Thanks, but I really should have started on it earlier.
Right. You minimize the achievement. You don't celebrate, and you're already worried about the next thing.
And the consequence is that by deflecting, you're literally signaling to your own brain that the compliment was wrong. You're reinforcing the feeling of inadequacy. The cycle just keeps running.
You reject the proof.
You literally reject the objective proof of your value.
So we need a hack for that specific moment of interaction. I mean, for high achievers, accepting praise can feel almost arrogant, right? Especially in cultures that value humility.
It feels very uncomfortable.
So what's the simplest, most immediate behavioral shift you can make?
The simplest, most effective hack is just to neutralize the deflection. You practice saying thank you.
Then that's it.
And then stop. You have to stop. Do not add the but, the only, or the self-deprecating joke.
That sounds deceptively simple. I know for me, if someone praises a project I poured weeks into and I just say thank you, I feel, vulnerable, like they're judging me for thinking too highly of myself.
That's the psychological friction. That's a thing we have to overcome. Just saying thank you is an act of neurological acceptance. It forces a pause. It lets that positive data point actually enter your system without being rejected by your fraud filter.
But what if that social pressure is just too intense?
If you absolutely have to add something, you can add a short neutral statement that attributes the win to the team or the process.
But not to luck.
Never to luck and never self-deprecate. So for example, thank you. I really appreciate you noticing the effort the team put in. That is a massive step up from, oh, it was nothing.
That's a powerful distinction. Attributing to effort, not minimizing the result. What other strategies are there?
You need a dedicated tool. We're back to data collection, the success log.
Okay.
And this is different from a regular journal. This is a repository of achievement evidence, screenshots of positive emails, notes about compliments, specific numbers and results from your work.
You're building your case file.
You are. The goal is to make it tangible evidence that you can go back and look at when the self-doubt is at its peak. You're giving your rational brain objective data to refute the emotional noise.
And the final strategy
is reframing the moment. When you get praise, you have to consciously shift your internal monologue away from, oh, that was easy, and towards, I applied my best critical thinking skills to that problem and the result shows it. You have to become your own defense attorney.
Arguing your case for competence based on the facts in the success log.
That is it, exactly.
This all leads us directly into the danger zone. We've talked about the internal belief, the external rejection of praise. Now let's look at the ultimate manifestation of all this pressure, the burnout.
The burnout, yes.
Can working yourself to the point of exhaustion actually be a primary symptom of imposter syndrome? Is this endless need to overwork just trying to outrun that feeling of being a fraud?
Absolutely, 100%. This is where the real damage happens. The sources are very clear on this. The constant grinding need to prove yourself, to validate your position by working harder, longer, better than everyone else. That is a direct path to chronic overwork and burnout.
Because if your past wins were just luck,
then your current output has to be triple what's required just to maintain your spot, just to avoid being exposed.
So on the surface, these behaviors look like incredible dedication.
Right.
But internally, they're driven by fear.
Exactly. Perfectionism is the classic symptom. You set these unrealistic, impossible standards, not for high quality, but because you're afraid that anything less than perfect will expose you.
And that must lead to overcommitting.
It's the second symptom. You take on too many tasks, too many responsibilities. You stretch yourself thin in this frantic effort to provide overwhelming, irrefutable evidence of your worth.
Wow.
And the third major manifestation is the catastrophic failure to delegate.
This isn't just about management style, is it?
No, it's a trust issue rooted in the imposter mindset. You secretly believe that only you can do the task correctly. Your position feels so tenuous, you can't risk someone else's mistake reflecting badly on you.
And the result of all that pressure is you sacrifice any kind of self-care.
It's the first thing to go.
So if the underlying belief is my value equals my output, how on earth do you implement boundaries? How do you delegate when the psychological stakes feel so existential?
You have to be strategic. The foundation is setting operational boundaries, not just emotional ones, clear work hours. And crucially, you have to communicate them.
To your team and to yourself.
Both. And if you have to send an email after hours, use the schedule send function. Don't create an expectation of constant availability for yourself or for others.
And what about delegation? How do you reframe that?
Instead of seeing it as handing off risk, you have to view it as an investment in focusing your own unique, high-value skills where they matter most. Practice the 80-20 rule.
Delegate the 80% of tasks that just require standard competence.
And you focus your energy only on the 20% that require your specific, hard-won expertise. This directly fights that only I can do it right mindset by forcing you to trust others and focus your own competence.
And since this is all fueled by anxiety, internal regulation must be key.
It is. You have to incorporate mindfulness. Just focused breathing, a brief meditation, something to intentionally pull yourself out of that anxiety-driven loop. When you feel that urge to check your email at 10 p.m., practice mindfulness to recognize that urge as fear, not as a necessity.
And finally,
seek support. This thing thrives in isolation. Talk to friends, family, a therapist. Recognizing that other successful, competent people feel this way is one of the most powerful cures. It reminds you that asking for help is a sign of self-awareness and strength.
Not inadequacy.
Not inadequacy.
This has been a really, really necessary deep dive. We went from recognizing those core feelings of fraudulence all the way to implementing strategies like the accomplishment log and then practical boundary setting to prevent that slide into burnout.
And for anyone who is ready to really institutionalize these changes, we highly recommend continuing the journey. There are some excellent practical reads out there.
Okay, what do you have for us?
For women navigating these pressures in competitive fields, The Secret Thoughts of Successful Women by Valerie Young is just full of tactical guidance. If you're looking to change how you physically embody confidence, Presence by Amy Cuddy is fantastic. It explores that link between body language and actual feelings of success.
Right, the power poses.
The power poses. And for a broader research-backed look at the science of it all, The Confidence Code by Katty Kay and Claire Shipman is essential. And if you want a workbook, exercises, something really hands-on, check out The Imposter Cure by Jessamy Hibbard.
That's a fantastic roadmap for anyone looking to go deeper.
Yeah.
But I think the core truth to remember here is that the feeling of being a fraud it's a psychological trick.
It is.
You aren't alone in this. And the key is recognition, consciously rejecting that narrative of luck and actively celebrating your own success.
So we'll leave you with a final provocative thought for your week. Think about the next piece of positive feedback you get. A compliment, A successful milestone, just a small win.
What's the one small win that you will actively celebrate this week? By just saying thank you, or by writing it down in your success log instead of automatically diminishing it.
Force yourself to take the credit you've already earned. You absolutely deserve it.
And that's a wrap, Scuba-Believers. You just experienced the power of AI-driven business insights with Pi and Piet 2.0. Real advice, artificial voices, unlimited potential. If today's episode sparked an idea, challenged your thinking, or gave you that breakthrough moment, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a fellow entrepreneur who needs to hear this. Got a burning business question? Want Pi and Piet to tackle your specific challenge? Head over to tuepodcast.net/askpi and submit your question right now. We'll dive deep into your issue and deliver the actionable strategies you need to get across the start line. Remember, Scuba-Believers, the hurdles aren't in the way. The hurdles are the way. Until next time, keep moving forward, keep taking action, and we'll see you in the next episode. Hello, Scuba-Believers. Let me ask you a real quick question. How many cups of coffee have you had today? 3, 5, 7? And let me guess, you've got a Red Bull in the other hand just in case, right? Yeah, I see you. Now, here's the truth bomb nobody wants to hear. You're not building a business. You're building a caffeine dependency. Listen, I get it. When you're grinding 12, 14, 16-hour days, you're building something from nothing. When you've got payroll to meet, investors to impress, and visions that won't wait. You need fuel. But what if I told you that the fuel that you're using is actually slowing you down? What if the very thing that you think is keeping you sharp is actually making you dull? Enter Rise Coffee. This isn't your grandma's mushroom tea. This isn't some hippie wellness trend. This is science meets performance. And here's what makes Rise different. Less than half the caffeine of a regular cup of coffee. But here's the kicker. You won't miss it. 6 organic powerhouse mushrooms, including cordyceps, what Olympic athletes use, and lion's mane, what Silicon Valley biohackers swear by. Sustained energy that doesn't spike and crash. We're talking smooth, clean power from morning to moonlight. Crystal clear focus without the jitters. Imagine closing the deal with calm, confident mind instead of the caffeine chaos. Gut health and immune support, because what's the point of building an empire if you're too sick to enjoy it? So here's the challenge to you. Stop borrowing energy from tomorrow. Stop running on fumes and call it a hustle. Stop wearing your caffeine addiction like a badge of honor. Real entrepreneurs optimize, real entrepreneurs adapt, real entrepreneurs win. You can't win if you're crashing at 2 p.m. while your competition is just getting started. Break the cycle. Head to risesuperfoods.com right now and use code PODNA15 for 50% off your first order. That's PODNA15 for 15% off. Try it for 30 days. If you don't feel the difference, if you don't feel sharper, calmer, more focused, more alive, then go back to your 6-a-day cup habit. But I'm telling you, we won't, because once you feel what real energy feels like, you'll never go back. Ditch the addiction. Fuel your empire and rise up. Rise Coffee, energy that builds, not burns.